So Qualcomm actually provides free access to Snapdragon hardware. So you can go to qdc.qualcomm.com and please register, right? Here you have this access to cell phones and laptops and all the other devices. Um, Maybe other devices are, there is some credits that you need to buy, but for compute you get like free credits because we want to promote the platform and everything. So the first step I would say is, in order to access, go to qdc.qualcomm.com, get a sign up. So you'll probably get all these links, and once you have this cloud access where you can go and start developing on the platform. So you will see the Snapdragon X Elite, right? And you have close to my guess is I've asked for 5,000 minutes, but you should have enough minutes in order to do workshops like these. Okay. Um, and because you log in, and it might take like 10 to 15 minutes to get some code which will get you inside the QDC. So once you get inside QDC, right, it's this Windows version that you can access right there. So you get access to Snapdragon. These are all sitting in San Diego in our farms, so it's as good as visiting. So now what we are trying to show here is Anything LLM, right? So Anything LLM is an open source software tool that you can download on your PC right now if you guys have Snapdragon X Elite laptops. And this is like a desktop preview, right? Like you can download, and it has a lot of features like RAG and memory management and features like that, which is enabled on our NPU. In this workshop, what we plan to do was go through the Anything LLM download, and here you can see there is a Qualcomm QNN, right? What it means is Qualcomm QNN is our AI software that is a runtime software that allows you to go and run on our platform to use our NPU directly. So Anything LLM has integrated with Qualcomm NPU and using our QNN stack. So once you're ready, you can create your workspace in Anything LLM. And you can start chatting right away, right? One, you can use your AI UI in order to go and start chatting. Otherwise, what you can also do is there's a developer API that they provide if you want to run in your terminals. In that way, you can choose to create this API, do a small settings. All these are the selections, like step by step in order to do that. But then here is a PowerShell instance that you can do it on your Windows laptop, right? So you can create a script. Once you create the script, add your API key and the local host where you are calling the Anything LLM. Once you start the Anything LLM, you can, okay, this is still the workspace, but then here in the configuration, you can set up what is this about, the chatbot and everything. And then using the API key, you can run this chatbot, right? You can start typing in the terminal here. So terminal chatbot.py, you can say, hello, how can I assist you today? And it comes back results. The goal here is to show another chatbot example, gradio_chatbot. So the goal here is to show the fact that, how our NPU utilization is being used without affecting your CPU or your GPU, right? Because that's where the efficiency comes in, because you can still use your CPU and GPU for a lot of tasks that you want to do daily, and efficiently it will show you how NPU can be utilized in order to run some of these chatbots. So this is just a starting point for you to run these chatbots, but then the next experiences can be about what are the different models that you can go and write it? What are the different tokens per second that you're getting out of it? So for any developer who's trying to develop on Windows on Snapdragon, the first goal is that, hey, what model should I go and select? Where exactly should I run? How do I get the most efficient performance if I want to go and do it? So all these questions, this would be the right starting point for you to go and do it. And then you can explore the model categories, model catalogs, and we have our own quantized models, which we call it as AIMIT. There is a GitHub which I can point to where all the quantized models are present. And also we partner with Microsoft, right? So QNN endpoint, we use Onyx runtime. Onyx runtime is basically an endpoint provider for you to run on different laptops. So this is also this is directly with QNN, but you can also use Onyx runtime in order to go and do these things. So the goal of this workshop was to show that, hey, this is exactly where you can get started with NPU enablement, and then you can go and start developing on different things.
Yeah. Does the model catalog, is it like open source? Can anyone access it?
Yes. So anything LLM has models from Olama. So if you want to run Olama models like Quen or Llama 2 or Llama 3, all these are available. So you can pick and choose which models you want to run, and you can run those on NPU.
Okay, so if I might be wrong, but do you guys support dynamic quantization on NPU?
Dynamic quantization through QNN, there is a beta version that we have released, so you can still try it out. But I wouldn't say for the productizing it's there yet, but we are working towards that.
Okay, so the models that you mentioned are like the GGML models, right?
Yes.
And those models are dynamically quantized for the MACML layers.
Yes.
So how is QNN, because QNN, the AI might QNN workflow does not handle the dynamic quantization, it does the static quantization. How does it handle the GGML model over here?
No. So some of the AMIT models that are quantized are supporting dynamic quantizations. It's not static actually. And those are, so that's exactly the reason we don't support all the models out there. So there are some models which QNN supports, and that is already part of anything LLM that it does. If the model support is not there, then definitely we can work it out and understand which one is not. But having said that, today you should be able to easily run like the Llama models and Quen models, all the popular models that are out there easily on our platform.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Makes sense.
So this tutorial for you guys is available on the Kite for you to go and download and start doing it. I'll just
just one more question. So
yes,
if I don't want to run a large language model and I want to run bird-based models.
Bird-based models.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would this tutorial tell me to bring my own model? And
so for that, right? Here is what I would suggest. AIHub.qualcomm.com. So not sure if you guys have seen this, but what we are doing here is in AI Hub, we have this bunch of different models here, right? Even the bird-based models that are quantized and ready to run on our compute platforms. So for you to get started, the easiest way to do it is use this AI Hub. There is a model picker where you can go and pick some of these models, just download it and start using it. So this also has the bird-based, vision-based, audio-based, all the different models that are out there for you to run on our hardware.
So the models are accessible via this model zoo directly?
Yes.
Okay.
And these would be adapted to run on the NPU, like done any changes?
Yes, yes. So you can, some of the models are enabled on the NPU, some of them are not. So each model that you see in the model, so you can actually see which ones are available to run on the NPU. We are onboarding a lot of ISVs, especially through AI Hub, who are bringing these custom models, not just LLM based, but there's a wide variety of use cases that people are trying to do. So absolutely, we just enabled Alum 7B. This is a new model from UAE. So yeah, things keep getting added to this. So we are trying to expand. And definitely, I would say check out aihub.qualcomm.com in future also, because we are trying to bring in new features and like a playground feature, like how Hugging Face has and things like that. So it would be much easier for you to understand these models. So there are two categories, right? I would like to show you that I presented in the presentation today, right? So this is how you should look our AI stack. So you can start with model zoos, right? The Qualcomm AI Hub or Hugging Face that I showed. But all these partners we consider as the middleware partners. So if you don't want to really worry about, hey, what are all the steps that I need to do to run on Qualcomm platform, just go download Olama, LM Studio, anything LLM that I showed. Quickly you can get started. Like they do that dirty work of bridging the gap for the developer of all the steps for you to go and run on our platform. But if you're having your own models, go through Qualcomm AI Hub. That's the best way. And there is a proper Qualcomm AI Hub also uses all these runtimes for you to go and start using on our platform.
So Qualcomm does not train their models, right?
We don't train our models.
So what is the motivation to maintain a Qualcomm model suite?
We optimize for our platforms. So we quantize and we don't touch weights, and that's not the goal because that's where the problem is. But we try to quantize in a certain way that is very much optimized for our platform. So that's what the AMET library is also for.
So, what is the cost of running these models on, for example, I have a Surface laptop with its Elite. So, in terms of battery life, in terms of CPU consumption, for a day-to-day task, like for example, if we want to replace this with the models that we have in cloud, how much extra cost do you think it will have?
So there is a cost of running models on your devices, right? And there is a battery and performance issues that are generally associated with that. But having said that, there are two scenarios, right? If you're an everyday user and you are using general purpose models, obviously they are not well optimized on the hardware, and you can expect to drain some battery there because these are directly from the model source, right? But then if you are working for an app or working for a company that you're trying to optimize for the hardware, then there's a possibility that you can manage some of these models in a better performance, which actually works well with a Snapdragon hardware platforms as well. So there is this trade-offs that we can work with. But having said that, because we are focusing a little bit on the NPU side of things, your CPU and GPU is untouched. We expect the battery efficiency to be very high, right? Because NPU, the way NPU is designed is to handle all these AI tasks, and they are very efficient. For example, I'll tell you, right? In an ideal case scenario, a Llama 2 model, if you run on CPU, it's probably giving you like 10 tokens per second or something. Like a GPU would give you 20, but the NPU is designed in such a way that it should give you like above 40 or something. So that's how efficiency is when you start running on the NPUs, directing all your workloads to NPU. But then the less utilization of your CPU, GPU is what conserves the entire power for you.
So basically my question was, for example, people using Gemini or Copilot or ChatGPT, those who have a machine like that, can they leverage some of these tools and use the machines to run the local models?
If you're asking in literal dollars, it should be zero for you because all these models are free and available for you to run it. For example, if you're using that, you should quickly go and download Olama, and in your terminal, download any model, right? Olama, let's say get Llama 2. It will download that model. It's probably around like 3.5 GB. And Olama chat, right? You can immediately see the chat running on your CPU. And all the questions that you want to ask, you can ask to the local model. It should basically be free. So local models are all open source, and some of them are available in Hugging Face, which are all running on your devices. So you can have that option of not using ChatGPT for everything or cloud models, especially if you want to do simple things like summarization tasks or hey, what are the restaurants? Probably these are all updated like 6 months back, right? Like or 2 months, 3 months. It just depends when the model was last trained. So, but you can always go and get the latest and greatest models to get the latest data.
Yep. So I'm interested in like not the LLM side of it, but the RAG side of it, the guardrailing side of it, where you run smaller models. But these models are still large. To make you would load it in your NPU, you would consider load time, but the user would expect an immediate response on the rack. Right? You cannot keep these models loaded into NPU all the time. You would keep on wasting your battery if these models are loaded. So what sort of solution Qualcomm is heading towards for this? Because then, if you keep these models loaded into memory for immediate response, you cannot say we are efficient, right?
Yeah. Have you used the embedding models, especially?
Yes.
So embedding models are much more efficient, right? Like they are not of the size that the bigger models are. So for your RAG use case, you would rather run with the embedding, so your memory is not really tied up when you're actually doing the queries, right? So your embeddings use your document that you're chatting with in the RAG, and then it converts, and then you have this Llama 2 or Quen models that you're asking some of these questions to go and run it. So to answer your question, efficiency can be attained, but still, because it is being used at the NPU level, you still shouldn't see that degradation that you're expecting of.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, so what I would say is the two best ways for you to start experimenting on the platform is that one, for the custom models, the AI Hub, where you go and download some of these models. But if you just want to get started with LLMs locally on the platform, these are all the options that I have. Highly recommend Ollama, LM Studio, and anything LLM for you to go and start running on our platform. Ollama and LM Studio doesn't support NPU today. Anything LLM supports NPU. So if you still want to use CPU and GPU, Ollama and LM Studio are options, but NPU, anything LLM.
Is there anything stopping Ollama and LM Studio to integrate with QNN?
Good question. Yes, but I cannot tell you what.
Because I saw the LM Studio demo,
Yeah.
and it was a private build.
Yes.
So, I was
Yes.
just curious.
But then we still haven't released an official NPU support for LM Studio and Ollama. But there are some technical challenges that we are working out for them, both Ollama and LM Studio. Because what happens, I'll tell you honestly, right? These guys are using Onyx runtime as their endpoints to go and develop. But anything LLM is using QNN directly. So somebody who uses Onyx runtime, that's where we are still helping these guys to do it, because that's how they want to scale. Anything LLM can do custom, and that's why we are able to do the NPU right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So people who have joined late, so there is in Kite, there is a tutorial which I've uploaded. It's a walkthrough tutorial. If you don't have devices, there is a cloud version that we provide, qdc.qualcomm.com, where you can go register yourself and start using the Windows on Snapdragon platform and start running some of the AI models. So that's what it talks about. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.